Hey everybody, this is Waz, West Atlanta Bourbon Society, back tonight. And tonight we're doing something very, very important. We're not even doing a posting or a review tonight. Tonight this is all about charity. I don't ask very much of my subscribers, I don't ask very much of my viewers, I don't ask very much of my members, but I am going to ask you tonight, I need you to take a hard thought about being part of this or participating in this, or at least donating to this cause, because this is a really good cause and a near and dear cause to my heart. Today we have a guest in here. His name is?
Encore Chatterjee. I'm the president of Enduring Hearts, which is a 501c3 that funds pediatric heart transplant longevity research. And we've got, you want to talk about the thing?
Well, before we do that, I'll introduce everybody if you don't mind. Yeah. So I'm Kevin Jablonski. This is?
John Smith.
He's our resident cigar specialist and cigar aficionado. We have?
Crystal Jablonski.
David Tolley.
Victoria Tolley.
Okay. And again, the guest speaker today is Mr.
Encore Chatterjee.
Encore Chatterjee. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your event that you're having. Sorry.
So we as I said, we fund pediatric heart transplant longevity research, and we try to deploy about $1 million in research funding every year. And one of the ways we raise money to do that is we actually put together the annual Enduring Hearts Bourbon Auction and Gala. And we started the first year by auctioning off the entire lineup of Van Winkle expressions. And we've had private barrels come through. We've got really nice vacation packages. We do a tasting of a variety of different unique bourbons, private barrels from Jack's Fine Wine and Spirits, who is one of the sponsors of the event. And we basically take all the money that we raise that night, which we hope is a lot of money, and we put it directly towards funding pediatric heart transplant longevity research.
Awesome, awesome.
So it's basically a really, really fun party with cool bourbons, great food, lots of fun people, and everything goes to a good cause.
And where's it going to be held at this year?
It's at the Stave Room at American Spirit Works, so it's right in the Sweetwater district in just south of Buckhead.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I guess my question is, we all know you're going to be auctioning off and doing charity events to raise money, and it's going to be really high-end stuff. But being as a regular bourbon drinker, what are you going to have there for the people that are there on an everyday basis? Because we all know I can try Pappy 23, and it's awesome. I ain't gonna go in the store and find a bottle of Pappy 23.
It's tough. That's why you got to come here, because you can find it there.
Oh, really?
But no, we have a lot of silent auction items that are unique bourbons. So like we're gonna have a bunch of Whistle Pig expressions. We'll have a bunch of different kinds of Japanese whiskeys and all kinds of things that we have basically in the silent auction where you can basically get those expressions and support a good cause at the same time. The 23 last year, I think, went for about $5,000. So I mean,
it's still tough. Yeah.
It's a tough one to get, but we hope there's lots of people out there who are going to bid on it.
What are some of the other silent auction items that you might have?
So we actually we've got a bunch of different support. So we've got like spa packages. We've got jewelry for the ladies, Kendra Scott jewelry. We've got wines. We've got again nice bourbons. We've got cigars. We're gonna have some cohibas.
Okay.
We're gonna have
so it's not just limited to bourbon people. It's a wide array.
It's basically all the fine lifestyle stuff, right? So Audi's gonna be there. We're hoping that they're gonna pony up and do a little like a 1-year lease that we can put on the silent auction of a nice Audi vehicle. So we're still working on a lot of the details, but like there's a lot of things. The Southern Drinking Club, which you guys have probably heard of, he's actually active on some of the, I think he might be a member of your group, and they're actually putting together a gift basket for the silent auction. So
because I think part of the issue that a lot of people would have, like my wife, now she'll drink a bourbon every once in a while, but she's not a bourbon fan.
Sure,
you know what I mean. And
it's not for everybody.
Of course, but on top of that, I mean, it's obviously a good cause.
Yeah.
But on top of that, even on a good cause, my wife on some things, she go, well, just go bid on something, and that'll be fine.
Yeah.
But this way, you'll have enough variety going on that she would actually enjoy coming.
Oh yeah, there's lots of different unique pieces. There's art, there's jewelry, there's There's services that you can bid on. There's all kinds of vacation packages. Wow. There's actually a Kentucky Bourbon Trail vacation package that you guys can bid on too. It's pretty cool.
We did the Bourbon Trail last year. It was very awesome. It's worth it.
It's very exciting. You're going to be competing against me because I'm going to be bidding on that one.
And I can honestly say, we, the wives, just came back from a spa treatment today that the husbands gave us for Christmas.
There you go.
And they should count themselves as very lucky because we were very pleased.
Oh, very good.
Well, happy wife, happy.
Well,
wife.
just to make sure that you guys are aware, this is on February 9th, which is right before Valentine's Day.
Wow.
So I mean, it's really good timing to get some nice things.
So I can tell my wife, honey, I got you a bottle of Pappy 23.
There you go.
There you go. Or no, honey, I got
And I'm sleeping on the couch for the next 3 weeks. But I'm sleeping with my Pappy.
That's right.
I'll be warm.
So let me ask you about the. You said you're also doing raffles, right? What all are you raffling off?
Okay, so we are actually going to be raffling off. So we're going to be raffling off a bottle of the 20. We're going to be raffling off a bottle of the Family Reserve Rye, the Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye, which is
how much are the tickets?
Which is a 13. So the tickets are $100 for one ticket and $250 for a 4-pack.
That's good.
So, you know,
How many you need, Kevin? You need 15?
I mean,
As many as it takes to win.
yeah, exactly. And the rye, and you guys, I mean, your viewership probably really already knows this, but the rye actually was not allocated this year, so it's really hard to find the rye. We've got 2 bottles. We got 2 bottles. We're raffling one. We're auctioning one.
Well, let me clarify that. He had 2 bottles when he got here. No,
one's going to the West Atlanta Bourbon Society. No, I'm kidding.
Now,
one won't make it out tonight.
I guess as a regular person, I'd kind of now we know we're doing the silent auctions and raffles and all that stuff for the charity. Is there a cost to get in?
Yes. So a single ticket. So there's actually a variety of different packages that you can get.
Okay.
So if you want to go all out and have a really VIP night, there's actually you can get a table. There's only like 4 tables left. There used to be 20.
Wow.
And that's a table of 8. And you actually, if you buy that, which is about $2,500, that'll actually it comes with a bottle of Rip Van Winkle 10.
Ooh. The 10-year.
So the 10-year expression. But you can get like a single ticket for $200, but there's a date night package for $380. There's a double date package for $720. And yeah, like I told you, the special VIP package, which is $25.
I assume you're going to be having food and all that kind of stuff.
There's going to be lots of really, really good food. We gotta
have food with bourbon
we
now.
always get compliments on our food because it's very bourbon centric. I mean, it's like nice, substantial, like very southern kind of. It sticks to your ribs, and so it's the perfect thing to go with bourbon.
But now all of the funds that come from this event are gonna go to
Enduring Hearts. And so Enduring Hearts, what Enduring Hearts does with that is we curate, so twice a year we take research that comes from a variety of places, direct submissions from scientists and doctors around the country and actually internationally. And basically they send us this portfolio of research, and we get it from the American Heart Association. We also get it from the International Society for Heart and Lung Transplantation, which are the 2 main organizations that are funding pediatric heart transplant longevity research. And we take that, and our scientific advisory committee, which consists of 5 doctors, actually go through it, and they decide which research we're going to fund. And basically, we decide, hey, we're going to fund so many hundreds of thousands or usually $1 million of research per year is what we try to add. And then we figure out, how the heck are we going to pay for all this? And that's why we try to raise as much money as we can. So we do 2 cornerstone events. We do this event, the Bourbon event, and we do Georgia Gives Day, Giving Tuesday, which is another way that we raise money every year.
Now, how many years has this been going on?
So the charity was founded in 2013.
Okay.
And that was kind of a formative year, but we've been funding grants, and the first year we funded like $25,000.
Okay.
which is just really is really wonderful because I come from a lot of social service work. So if you go out and you buy this ticket, you buy the last table or whatever it is, that table that you buy and that great night that you have is possibly going to save how many countless innocent lives
Absolutely.
in the future.
We're really at a juncture in the research kind of landscape of this heart transplant, the pediatric heart transplant research, where we feel that, you know, some of the next dollars that come in can really make a significant difference. And because the average heart transplant right now for a pediatric patient lasts about 12 years.
Yeah.
Okay, people think that it's going to last forever. It doesn't last forever. It's about 12 years, and 1 in 4 pediatric recipients will actually need a heart transplant or have some sort of rejection event in the first 5 years.
And that's assuming they can actually get on the list and get the transplant.
Exactly, because
transplant.
because look, retransplantation, when the kids who have had a heart transplant go back on the list for a transplant, that's actually drawing from the same pool as the primary transplant recipients.
And I can imagine-
so it really pulls down the.
And I guess my primary issue is when you're dealing with like pediatrics, it's not like I'm in a motorcycle accident, he get my heart,
Yeah.
because my heart can't be put into a 10-year-old.
Yeah. No,
you
it's
know,
not.
so
Too
if
big,
you're dealing
right.
with even a smaller pool that you
Yeah.
can draw from.
So yeah, and unfortunately, you know, and it's one of the sad things to think about, but it takes a lot of the time. It takes a child to save a child's life.
I understand.
Which-
That's sad.
Yeah, it's
And
very
I mean,
sad.
he is a heart attack survivor. And this is my heart. And to understand that when a heart goes away,
Yeah.
you know, it's devastating to so many people around
Yeah.
them. And for a child
Mhm.
to have difficulties. My niece was born with
Congestive
the
heart failure.
Well,
yeah.
yeah, the heart, the hole just went all the way through her body.
Yeah.
And she lived to be 29 and basically, you know, died on the table with her last surgery. But it never got to the point where they even considered giving her a heart transplant.
Wow.
Never got to the point.
Wow.
Okay, well,
Okay.
but get off the sad stories.
Sorry, guys. But
it's
that's what we're
important.
doing tonight.
Yeah.
It's important to hear this because this is what we're doing tonight. You know, this is what you're.
Somebody
you're-
kick in the country
and-
music.
You know, I understand it's $200 a ticket or whatever. You know, blase, or
Well,
you know, the date night tickets.
Wait a minute.
This is what.
Right, I get. Is there
So
another way?
if you want to be if you want to support the cause, but you don't have the $200 to get into the event, you can always go to www.enduringhearts.org, and you can help us out in any way you can. No amount is insignificant. Every amount that comes in helps us add to the amount of research that we can fund, and every last dollar helps us get to our goal.
Let's be honest. Now, as bourbon drinkers,
I'm pretty sure you guys are spending a lot more than $200.
Yeah,
Right. We spent a lot of money on
trying- I'm
it.
trying-
I know I do.
If you're a valid bourbon drinker and are so interested in bourbon and the lifestyle that you're actually involved in this stuff, do it. We spent almost $100 on Chinese food today,
Right.
and it was okay, but it wasn't that awesome.
Right. It's not like the Pappy Van Winkle and the stuff you're gonna get. Now I had another question. So the $200 single tickets, are they going to be placed at a table with the 10-year on it, or is
So
that a different?
no.
Okay.
So the
That's what I
$200, the $200 single tickets basically. So there's kind of flex seating. So the way it works
Like
is
general admission?
yeah, it's kind of general admission. The tables are reserved, and then there's like high tops and stuff where you can but I mean a lot of people really honestly are not sitting down during the night.
Mingling.
They're
Right.
mingling because there's a lot of there's gorgeous people there. I mean, it is like Atlanta's,
Well, thank you.
most
Yeah,
beautiful.
so-
So you're going to be there. Yeah, I figured you're going to be there. So, I mean, you're going to drive. You're going to actually bring the whole attractiveness
right.
level up.
That's
There you
right.
go.
Yeah. So basically, people are really mingling. There's a lot of people hanging out at the bar. I mean, there's really nice, cool, very rustic bar. I mean, it's a really, really awesome venue. If you guys are really looking for a bourbon-centric kind of atmosphere, it's basically you're right next to, and you can see through the window, old-fashioned copper pot stills,
Okay.
2 of them. And there's, the ASW Rick House is right
This is
there.
at the ASW
This is at the
distillery. It's at the
ASW
distillery,
yeah.
right here in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
So I mean, it's basically, the backdrop is bourbon, the purpose is charity, but everything is bourbon centric, and we also have wine and other spirits. for
Okay,
people
so
who don't drink.
let me make sure I understand this. We got an event.
Yes, sir.
Going to have a lot of good food.
Yes, sir. Really good food.
Going to have a lot of good cocktails.
Oh, absolutely.
A
Craft.
lot of good bourbon.
Yes, sir.
And a little bit of money. And beautiful people.
Beautiful people. This
And-
guy.
And the money that you're spending on it, even though you're getting high-end food, high-end drinks, high-end people,
Mm-hmm.
is still going to a good cause.
Yeah, because we have really awesome. Can I talk about the sponsors?
Sure, please
So
do.
we were actually sponsored by a variety of different companies. Join as our presenting sponsor, and our bourbon is actually we get help getting the bourbon that we're serving that night by Jack's Fine Wine and Spirits and Savannah Distributors. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta is involved in the event. Audi of Atlanta is involved in the event, and Adams and Reese, which is an attorney, and Brookwell Capital are all supporting the event as well. And so basically from the support from these corporate partners, we get to defray the cost, because this event costs a lot of money to
I can
put
imagine.
on.
Right.
I mean, last year, quick story, last year the event was actually on the day that the bridge collapsed.
I-85.
And just so you know, this venue is less than a quarter of a mile away from that,
Wow.
that
Right,
event.
right, the ASW distillery.
I
right.
had 300 people registered, 150 showed up because they just couldn't make it.
Wow.
So we actually lost money on this event last year.
Yeah.
And so what we're trying to do this year is we're really trying to make sure that we bring in what we can bring in, because
Now, I am confident, and you've probably seen this as well since y'all gotten started. As you start it and more people find out about it,
Yeah.
things get bigger and it starts to snowball.
Snowballing, yeah.
Because now, this distillery was involved last year. Well, we want to be involved too, and we want to do this. And all of a sudden, now you get new people wanting to be involved in the food. And like you're talking about Audi, and maybe they can get.
Yeah.
And what happens is Audi gets involved. Next thing you know, BMW wants to be involved,
Right.
and it gets
So
bigger and
what,
bigger.
like 3 more years that we're gonna have Rolls Royce involved?
Hey,
Is that what you're
Sounds
saying?
like a good
I wish
deal.
you-
Ferraris.
whatever.
Julian Van Winkle himself needs to come down and do this event.
We're trying. We're
If-
trying, yeah.
If you're listening, please come support this event, please.
You just-
we
That'll be
support
awesome,
your liquor.
Julian.
Look,
You're just
look,
an old
Pappy
moonshiner
12,
anyway.
Let's-
Pappy 20,
can we
Pappy
call him Mr.
23.
Van Winkle?
Mr. Van Winkle,
Mr. Van
right,
Winkle, yeah.
right. Mr. Van Winkle.
I am so sorry to interject, but it may not be politically correct, but I would not mind if there was a fur coat in there, or maybe some more meat.
Next year we're going to donate.
A little more jewelry.
Next year, Waz will donate a fur coat to be raffled off in the auction via the Tallies.
I already had. Wait a minute. I bought 2 fur coats this year. I'm done.
And only one of them was mine. So I'm asking the question: where did the other one go? No,
Your daughter.
I know where they go.
Your daughter got a blue fox fur. That's it.
So some of the things that you're going to auction off, a bottle of Van Winkle Reserve Rye, the 13-year rye. You're also going to auction off a bunch of neat getaway packages. There's also this neat thing that you told me about for the Four Roses that you're auctioning off.
It is the auction item that I'm most excited about, and I don't know how I'm going to bid on it because it's going to be amazing. But it is the private barrel of Four Roses bourbon. It's cask strength, so barrel strength bourbon. You actually get to, and it's not like a predetermined barrel. You are bidding on the ability to go up. You get to stay in the Brown Hotel in Kentucky, in Louisville, and you basically get to go to the Cox Creek warehouse and bottling facility. Pick out. They'll sample you from their stockpile of private barrels, and you get to basically figure out which one you want, and you pick it. And when it's done aging, they'll actually express it. They'll dump it, put it into bottles with a custom label for your particular bottling, and then they will give you all the bottles and they will give you the barrel.
Wow.
And you get to take it all home.
That is awesome. You get a whole barrel.
Whole barrel.
Between 200 and 300 something bottles, they give you the whole thing and the barrel, just like you bought a barrel program.
It's a lot, and so in this situation, so look, if you've been looking to go in with friends or whatever and get a barrel, or maybe you run a business and you want to give away a lot of bourbon for Christmas next year or something like that, this is a really good way to basically to do this. And also make a huge impact, because typically when you buy a barrel from like these distilleries, that's profit for them, right? They're getting that, and it's money. They donated this package to us. We asked them to donate this to us,
Which
we're not paying for it.
Yeah, if I can interject for a second,
Yeah.
I would make this suggestion: if you were so inclined to actually win this barrel, I would make one of 2 recommendations. The first one being donated to the Tolly Benevolence Fund, so I have or yet, you could redonate back to the charity for next year and have
And they can raffle off the bottles.
and that will be what you would drink at the next year's thing.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
this would be a legacy
oh yeah.
for one of these up and coming individuals,
And
someone
guess what?
that runs a financial program
Or a
to
law
give
firm.
out to their
And guess what?
families.
You could be one of the little lovely people. I guarantee if you give them a barrel of bourbon, you might get your name on the little back of the card as a
Oh
sponsor.
yeah. Get on the card.
Get on the card. There you go. That's a
Get on the
card.
card.
And for those of you who run all those commercials on the radio of so-and-so law firm, hey, it can be a tax write-off.
You like calling out lawyers, don't you?
I am a lawyer.
He's our lawyer. He's our resident lawyer.
Not to mention, there's no such thing as a
cigar
non-tax lawyer.
aficionado right here, and part owner of Trilogy Cigars, and that's our resident lawyer right there. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about you. So, how'd you get into bourbon? When did you start drinking bourbon? What kind of got you into bourbon?
Oh man, when did I start drinking bourbon? I think
Legally.
well, yeah. I mean,
don't care.
I mean, like most people, the first time I ever had bourbon was underage, and probably a bottle of Jim Beam White. But I mean, it's like
You can afford Jim Beam White? Wow.
Oh well, we're not going to go into the whole Jack Daniels being bourbon or not thing.
Oh,
so,
no.
Right,
That's a holy war that we don't get into.
And I will say, let me clarify this. Jack Daniels is not a bourbon. It is a Tennessee whiskey, and I can say that as a descendant of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, he
Not
actually
a-
is a
not
Tolly. Tolly is a
financial
descendant of Jack
descendant of
Daniels.
Jack
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't get any money from them. Otherwise, if they
We
want to
should
get,
go ask him for some.
I bet
Right,
if they want to
we should
send
do
me a check, I'll argue whatever you want.
Right. So I started drinking bourbon, like really getting into bourbon, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I started kind of accumulating my collection of bourbon. I have a bottle. I have one bottle of Van Winkle 12. So I mean that's my high end stuff, right?
Let me ask you this on a personal note. Now, you said about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, I know I am probably a day or two older than you. I remember what doesn't seem too long ago, Jim Beam White Label was probably what seemed like the top end of bourbon, and they finally started coming out with Basil Hayden and Wardful Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is now starting to get popular, and they're actually, some of the distillers are starting to think, we could actually do something that's better than just rocket fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you used to be able to find Pappy Van Winkle. You used to be able to order it and
Yeah.
ask
Sure.
your liquor store.
I mean, I think in the last 10 years, you've seen a resurgence of bourbon like Scotch was 10 years ago.
It's really, I mean, I liken it to the craft brewing thing because craft distilling is a thing now,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and even look, Bookers and Bakers and all the Beam family, descendants are actually going in and making their nice kind of high end expressions, and it's actually really exciting because it's attainable. They're not ridiculously expensive, but you have some nice caramel bombs. You got like nice vanilla notes on the nose. I mean, they're actually putting a lot of effort into making these bourbons really good, and I really think it's an exciting time because as more and more people, some people are like, oh, well, bourbon is too popular now and I don't want all these people involved in bourbon, blah, blah, blah. I think it's great because the more demand we have for bourbon like this, the better quality bourbon is going to be expressed.
'Cause I know when I was a kid-
The only issue that I have with it, though, is as more people get into it,
Prices
the
go
more
nuts.
the more stuff goes on allocation. I don't even care the prices. The prices are not the problem. The problem is I can't find this stuff anymore.
Yeah. Well, I know. Like,
Weller Special Reserve is an allocated bourbon.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy. It's
How
crazy.
is Weller Special Reserve, the green Special Reserve that I wouldn't drink
I see
back
what
when I was younger? Right. I mean, but I mean, I would only drink Weller 12 and up because it was $17.99 or whatever at the time.
I think a lot of it you see that there's been kind of a mental shift.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, the guy that drank bourbon was the old biker country guy that would drink it because it was like turpentine almost.
Right.
Ooh, it's smooth, that stuff. And now there's been a cultural shift to where you do have the plastic surgeons and the lawyers and the Indian chiefs that can sit around and have a cocktail and smoke a good cigar and nobody thinks anything about
As
it.
Pappy does on the label. He's an old man sitting there with his bourbon with a nice cigar,
Yeah.
having a nice dram of bourbon. Now back to what I was asking you. So you have tried the 12-year. You said you have a 12-year.
I have a 12. I've tried the 20. The 20 is amazing.
Okay.
Never had the 23.
Never had a 23?
Never had the rye.
Huh.
I don't remember if I had. I've had the 15, and I've never had the 10 actually. which is
Okay.
kind of weird.
Well, what we're gonna do? We're gonna do something special tonight. Since y'all sat through and watched this and listened to us about this, we're gonna do a special tasting tonight for this man right here who's never had Pappy 23, and he's gonna taste.
Are you serious?
He's gonna taste and he's gonna review. He didn't know we were gonna do this.
You did not.
This is something I did not tell him I was gonna do.
Now
He's
we
gonna
did.
taste.
Now,
Very exciting.
Hey, we're gonna break that fourth wall. Don't tell him we just filled it with Heaven Hill.
No, we didn't do that.
Well, Heaven Hill's good.
We did not, yeah, Heaven Hill's good. We did not do it. So this is the Pappy 23. It is from 2015.
Like that?
It's B15, so it's Buffalo Trace 2015. Pappy 23-year-old, and we'll get you to nose it. Give us some of the notes and talk about it.
I'll take the rest of that home.
I have never nosed anything like this before. This
Really?
is like, I mean, it is like decadent.
Yes.
It doesn't.
The raffling these off, guys. So
Now,
remember, he's
tell me
going to
if
give
I'm
you
wrong.
the
It almost
the
has
review.
like a praline kind of smell.
It
to
does. It's almost like a.
It's like it's been sitting in pecans or something. I don't know.
It's cognac-y almost.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's got like an old vintage type of smell to it.
Yeah, it's praline. I got a lot of vanilla, obviously. It's just. I'm drooling.
It's really good.
No.
Imagine,
Can I try it? Can I
Yes,
try
have a
it?
taste. It's yours.
You know what's
That's
that?
your dram, sir.
Realize this your stuff's been sitting around in a barrel for a while.
This is to thank you for being a part of this and having an Enduring Hearts foundation and putting all this together and all the timeless work that you do. You've had these expressions and you're putting on this whole event. How dare somebody not give you a taste of the Pappy 23 that you're auctioning off at your own event?
I mean, that's really kind of.
No
that's
problem,
really kind
sir.
to say. I really appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna taste this.
Okay.
And I think we sit in bated breath waiting for the result.
Do I need to wipe your head?
Wow,
I like the back taste.
No burn.
that is just effortless.
Yeah.
It's like drinking Kool-Aid almost, isn't
Oh
it?
my gosh, it is so smooth and so ridiculously warm and velvety, mouthfeel wise.
And you could have
Caramel
the
bomb.
same experience.
If you come to the
Lots of-
event, come to the event and bid on it, right?
Very oaky,
But then
obviously,
you can,
because it's been sitting in oak. Yeah.
explain what it tastes like in the notes and stuff at your event and tell people what they're buying.
Okay, now let's put the cigar guy on the spot.
Uh-oh.
Now,
Uh-oh, our resident
you
cigar
have-
aficionado.
Yes, you have got
John.
a bottle of 23. And of course, you have so many different varieties, in your care at your facility, at your store. What would you suggest to go along with that?
Well, when you're drinking something like the Pappy 23, that is ridiculously smooth. There's no bite on it.
It's amazing.
It's very sweet, syrupy. You want to get a cigar that's going to match that profile. You don't want something that's going to fight with it. So you don't want anything that's going to be a pepper bomb. You're going to want an aged leaf. Something, honestly, around a 10-year age on a tobacco leaf is probably what you're going to want. One of my favorite things to pair with something like the Pappy 23 is a Padron 80th. We spoke about that earlier.
Very, very backup cocoa flavor.
Very backup cocoa
It will
flavor,
complement that very well.
which goes
Not
with the sweet
overpowering,
taste.
And it's not
Exactly.
cocoa itself, but as you smoke it, you kind of get that.
Yeah, so it's cocoa, and when you hear people talk about cocoa in cigars, oftentimes they're talking about unsweetened cocoa, like kind of the essence of chocolate, not chocolate
Yeah.
itself. And something like that is going to hit that off perfectly.
And I will say that, and me and him had this conversation. I was managed a cigar store for years. The Padron family is a very good family,
Yes.
particularly because you will run into a lot of people in the cigar industry that know there was a cigar craze and we're going to hit it, get our dime and get out.
Yes.
They have been consistent. I can go into any store and buy a Padron 3000, which is their baseline stuff, a 1964, a 1926, and it's always going to be consistent.
All consistency
Across
is
the
key with
board.
Padron. One of the stories that a lot of people don't know about, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it, is years ago, Padron experienced fires at their factory. And the children and the heirs of the Padron family wanted to outsource tobacco from Honduras. and the precedent was set, the mandate was stated, that I'd rather jump down from a production of 4 or 5 million cigars to only make 64,000 cigars if it's going to be 64,000 of my cigars, because my customers expect consistency.
And their name is on every box.
And their name is on every box. So,
And I'll tell you from experience, when you call the Padron factory, I used to do this. I would call the Padron factory, and you ain't talking to a lackey.
No.
I would talk to George,
yes,
one of the brothers, and he would take your order.
yes. So a
That's how
Padron,
committed they are to their product.
a Padron 80th is something that's going to pair exceptionally well with Pappy. I also like to do perhaps like a God of Fire that's rolled by the Fuente family. If you've never smoked a God of Fire or some of the high-end Fuente sticks outside of the Opus X brand, you'll get a hint of raisin bread and cinnamon on those cigars, which go great with the sweet, syrupy flavors and scents that you get from the Pappy. If you've never had Pappy 23, the olfactory experience on it is something that can't be replicated in any
Happening
bourbon
right now, guys, right
anywhere.
here.
You know,
You can't
the bouquet is phenomenal. So you want a cigar that's going to complement that and that's going to emit a very pleasant smoke.
Raisin
And
bread would definitely
would
go
definitely
really well
go
with
well
this.
with
It's
it.
amazing.
So God of Fire, I like the Carlitos, but God of Fire or a Padron 1980th, because if you're going to drink a bourbon that's that exclusive, you might as well get a cigar that fits the bill.
Now,
So,
I
so
do
in
think-
terms of wrappers and stuff, like, would you like do like a Maduro or like a cafe or like what kind of wrapper?
So when it comes down to the wrappers, it's really going to come down to where the cigar was produced and how long it's going to be aged. A lot of people stay away from the Maduro wrappers if they're just getting into cigars because they immediately assume a Maduro wrapper is going to be strong. And it can be. Some Maduro wrappers are going to be strong and peppery. But what you'll find the more you delve into cigars is it's not necessarily the wrapper that makes it that peppery. It's the binder. It's the binder, and it's the amount of ligero that goes into the cigar that gives it its strength and that pepper
Now,
profile.
if you don't think you're ready, now I personally love Maduros because if you smoke a line of cigars, whether you're smoking a Canadian wrap or sun-grown or Maduro, you will find out it's the same flavor. It just intensifies because what it is, it's an aging process.
Yes.
And as it ages, it gets darker. I mean, you can get like an Oscuro wrapper, and that looks like a burning tire.
Yes.
But if a friend of mine told me once, like wine, you take a really good bottle of wine and put it down for 10 years, you got an excellent bottle of wine. You take a crappy bottle of wine and put it down for 10 years, you got an old crappy wine. So if you got a good quality product, the more you let it age, all it does is bring out that flavor.
That's exactly.
So if you got a good flavor, it just intensifies it.
Now I've got a question. Who is? You said you are auctioning off a lot of cigars. Who's going to talk about your cigars at your event?
That's a great question. We have an auctioneer, and he's going to learn everything. Maybe we should have somebody.
Maybe we should do that. We'll talk about that.
We'll
Maybe
talk about
we'll
that.
see you all there.
We're making.
We
deals.
might see you all there.
Yeah, we might see y'all there.
And I think we've hit a kind of trifecta here. You know, we've got a great cigar guy, which, mind you, we put him on the spot. And we've
That's
got
the question, though.
we've got wonderful libations, and we'll have wonderful food, and we'll of course be with the beautiful people.
Oh yeah. Beautiful people.
Beautiful people.
This guy.
I'll represent.
Yeah. So, if I let you out of the house. Okay, but, and I think it's in the end, after all is said and done, there is going to be some child out there that is going to get saved, on their second transplant, or there may not be a need for a second transplant.
We hope so, yeah.
Because of some of the work that is going to be done because somebody came out to this event, somebody bought that barrel and enjoyed those bottles for years to come. There may be some child out there somewhere, there probably is, that's going to cure cancer or cure heart disease or save our government in some way.
Well, let me.
We're gonna close.
Wait, time. I'm gonna say you this. Now, as you're sitting there watching this and drinking your Woodford Reserve at home or your Blanton's, your Basil Hayden, whatever, I want you to think, mid-February, you're sitting there, you're watching the news, and I know we've all seen those Shriners commercials and all that kind of stuff, and you hear the news about some kid who might have passed away because he couldn't get a heart transplant, or he had a rejection, but you didn't spend your little $200? I mean, you should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, it's $200. That's nothing.
Down the morbid trail, much.
But anyway, right. No, he's right. But you know, even if you can't spend $200, or even if it's not in your budget, do me a favor. Go to www.enduringhearts.org and just give something. Give something to the cause. Right? We appreciate it.
Right? We're registered 501c3, so
that means it's a tax deduction.
Your gift is tax
We don't
deductible.
need tax deduction.
Right.
Yep.
And to finish this off, because I know we're going into about 35 minutes here, what do you think of the Pappy 23?
Oh man, it's amazing. I haven't finished it.
Right.
I told him he couldn't get the glass.
But we usually do, when we do a review, we usually put water in it, but we're not going to put water in this because it's Pappy 23.
It's
But
amazing, yeah. It doesn't need water.
Doesn't need water, right,
No.
right. But is it
wanna
a
walk
bottle
outside
you'd
the glass.
buy if you had the opportunity at both retail and secondary? You have to answer that question. Secondary and retail, would you buy it either way? And then also, would you rather have it at a bar, or is it bust? Is it drain pour that you pour down the drain? It's not even worth drinking.
So you're asking me, is Pappy 23 something I would buy at retail?
Right.
Absolutely.
If you could find it.
If I could find it, absolutely. Because it's what, $259 at retail.
So it's not worth, yeah, $259, $249,
whatever it is, yeah, right?
Under $300,
Yeah,
right,
something like that.
right.
So yeah, I would. I mean, it's definitely worth that.
Okay.
I think based on the olfactory. So look, the taste is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The smell, the nose. I'm a very olfactory person.
Right.
Okay, you can probably tell because I've been smelling this like crazy. The nosing experience is even better than the taste. Okay,
Yes.
I honestly, I cannot wait to finish this and let it sit for a little bit so I can smell the dry glass. I made a comment. So one of my favorite things to do is to smell the glass after the dram is over.
Right.
It's amazing because it brings out a lot of the kind of the residual the smells.
I think the smell, like
amazing.
with food and everything else, the smell is probably 80% of the experience.
This is a wonderful after dinner dram. And I think I would definitely, if I had that kind of coin, I would probably drop $5,000 on this.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of coin to drop $5,000 on a bottle of bourbon. It is not pour down the drain. But I mean, I'll tell you what. Look, I mean, if we're talking to bourbon enthusiasts, an Elijah 18 will stand up against
Right. Or Elijah
against-
23.
Elijah 23 will stand up
right,
against
yeah.
it.
I do believe I brought an Elijah with me this time.
Yes, you
that's,
did.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the Pappy, and I'll tell people out there that have never experienced Pappy 23 or anything from the Van Winkle family, the 20, the 15, et cetera, et cetera. Their peers in bourbon, so if you talk about the Elijah Craig 23 or some of the super high age bourbons, some of them are just as smooth and just as flavorful pours as the Pappy, but you will never in your life pour a dram that smells like Pappy 23 smells.
You can tell the smell off. Yeah, as soon as you smell it, you can tell the difference.
Like
right.
you talk about the Elijah Craig 23, and the Elijah Craig 23 is very, very good bourbon. A lot of people prefer it to Pappy, but I can tell you right now, if I poured a glass of that and a glass of Pappy and I told you to smell and pick one you wanted to drink, not one person walking earth will pick up the Elijah Craig, smell it, and say, well, I want this one
Instead of
over that one.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you hear it here now.
I'm spoiled now. You ruined me.
It's a bottle to buy. It's the bottle to find. Pappy 23. Please do everything you can to support Enduring Hearts. Enduring Hearts. That's www.enduringhearts.org.
Yep.
Please support us. Thank you so much for watching our podcast tonight. And we're going to do another podcast where we're going to do a blind tasting with a bunch of bottles. Everybody bought bottles between $20 and $50. And we're going to taste through it. We're going to find a champion. It's called Bourbon Fight Night. Bourbon Fight Night. We're going to have that fight in a minute, and we're going to see who's the contending winner, but we'll post that later. But this is something I really wanted to get out and something I really wanted to spend time on. We've never had a 30, 40-minute post, but it was something that was really important to me, and I really wanted y'all to see this. So please do everything you can to be out, and we'd love to see you there. A few of us have already, pretty much said we're going to be there, and we're going to help host the program with them and do some stuff with them. But we want to see you out. Please come out and support. And if you can't come out and support, please at least donate anything, any kind of money. www.enduringhearts.org, please. All right, thank y'all so much, and we appreciate y'all watching. And again, drink good bourbon. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.